All right. Hey, everybody. Gonna come in with another demo for Project 2, covering some Photoshop basics, maybe some things that will help you out as you continue to work on our mythical creatures. I'm gonna break these up into a couple different videos, so it should be a little better than kind of scrubbing through one 40-minute cut. In this first video, I'm going to cover importing your images after setting up your file, and then a couple of different techniques for masking your image, which is the same as saying removing that image from its background. So when we set up our file, we go to New File, we change our uh, units of measurement to pixels in this case. We set both values to 1080 to give us a square, changing our resolution to 72, which should be ideal for viewing on a screen. And we're going to make sure we have the RGB color mode selected. So we can go ahead and hit create. And you can see it brings up a square canvas for us. And this will give us a good base for putting together our composite. So the next thing we want to do is import our images. And the easiest way to do that is to, under the File command, go down to Place Embedded or Place Linked. Either of these will work. They both have different value, but for our purposes, I think we're going to go for the embedded links. And all that means is that they will not, if you make changes to the source file while it is open in Photoshop, it will not affect your Photoshop composition. Again, it's kind of that's a discussion for another day, but here we are. Okay, I've got my 4 images selected. I can upload one at a time, so we're going to place after selecting one of our images. And you can see our Kodiak bear come in here. I'm just going to use the resize to bring it up to full screen. And then to save the changes that I made, or to save that resize of the image, I can push enter. And you'll see that the bounding box is gone, and the bear has come in under our layers panel over here on the right. Now we're going to do that 3 more times in my case for our 3 other images. So we've got my could not complete because of a program error. Well, that's awkward. Let's try again. Tardigrade comes in pretty good. Enter to confirm the place. Lunar surface looks good. Enter again, and you'll see these images populating over here on the right in our layers panel. Let's try this one more time. Yeah, something with my image does not want to upload. Well, that's all right. I will go with 3 images for now. Okay, so one of the things you can do in your layers panel, which is super nice, is to you can hide or show different layers using this eyeball, similar to what we did in Illustrator. So this will allow you to kind of focus on whichever layer you need to use at the current moment. But as for us, we're going to focus on our tardigrade, as we're going to sort of pull the face or the head off of this creature and put it onto our Kodiak. So if we're talking about masking out the face of the tardigrade, there's a handful of different ways to do it. So I'll kind of go through the most simple and then end up with some things that are, I don't know, not so much more advanced, but just different, just newer tools, right? So one of the things you can do that's, again, the most basic is to use the lasso tool. You'll find the lasso tool here on the left side of the screen. Looks like this. shortcut for that is L, but you can just use your lasso tool to draw a shape around whatever you want to mask out. So if I draw a circle here around the head of the tardigrade, you can see it's provided me with this marching dots to show that there's a selection made there. And now if I click and move it, I can move that selection around to a different area on my image. If I switch tools away from the lasso tool to the direct select tool, which is right above it, then I'm moving the image itself. So depending on what you have selected, that will provide a different result for what the result that you're going to get. So now that I have this selection made, I want to create a mask over my image. Now the best way to do that is in your layers panel over here on the right side of the screen. Down at the bottom, you'll see this option that looks like a hole in a card, I guess. Looks like a mask, layer masks, right? If you click on that, then you can see everything is removed except for what I had selected within those marching ants within the selection. And you'll also see this mask has shown up in the layers panel next to my image of the tardigrade. So this will remain linked or locked to that image if I move the image around as I did before. Whoops. It's going to allow for what will happen is that background image will move alongside the mask. I can delink those by clicking this link in between the two mask and image. And if I do that, then I'm moving my image around behind the mask. And that helps make small adjustments if that's what you're looking to do. Okay, we're going to relink that. Another thing you can do with your mask over here on the layers panel is you can just disable it. And you'll see the red X go through. And that allows for you to kind of see what's behind it, turn it off if you need to, and then re-enable it without having to remake your mask. Okay, so we're going to just duplicate this layer and hide the mask that we just made. We're going to go to Delete Layer Mask over here in the Layers panel, and we're going to start over with another masking method. Another way you can do this is with a quick mask, or it's the, let's see, what does the tool look like? I forget what it's called over here. Selection brush tool. It's found in the same place as the lasso. So if you click and hold where your lasso is, it gives you a few other options, different kinds of lassos, but then the selection brush tool as well. So this is great as it allows you to draw in your selection rather than using just selecting the exterior or the perimeter. You can kind of paint it in like this. So you can get, you could get, whoops, let's go back to our tool. If we zoom in and select our masking tool, again, our selection brush, we can paint in and we can get really detailed and be very precise about how we're painting this in. If we want to get it, if we want to just get this portion of the head, excuse me, you can see how this allows me to be a little more precise, right? This is a great method for masking for that reason. It also, let's say I have this filled in and I want to subtract an area. I can do that by holding Alt. If I'm holding Alt, you can see the plus symbol in the middle of the brush changes to a minus symbol. And then if I click, I'm removing from that area rather than adding to it. So normal click adds and fills in. The subtract symbol shows up with Alt, and then you can remove. Now, if I deselect or if I move away from this quick mask tool, then you can see how those marching ants show up, and we have our mask again, layers panel at the bottom, quick mask, and we end up with a similar shape, this time with the sort of mouth removed. There's one other really great way to do a mask that just recently was added to Photoshop, and that is to use this contextual panel down here and select subject. Now, you have mixed results with this depending on your image, but generally, if you have an image that has a really clear distinction between the subject and the background, this provides with a really good, really quick mask. So by selecting this, Photoshop automatically will mask this for me, and it has selected my tardigrade pretty well. So instantly I've got just a really precise mask. Again, add the layer mask over here, and we're pretty much set up. You can do refinements from here, but that is again just a really slick new way to do it, and a way that will save you some time. Now, the last thing I'm going to show is if we have our selection and have not made our layer mask yet, we can do that by going to the mask over here, right-clicking on the mask in the layers panel, and selecting Add Mask to Selection. Now you see I have the marching ants back after having made the layer mask. If we just delete this for the time being, one of the things I can do is refine this mask, and the best way to do that is under, I think it's under Edit. Where is it? Select and mask. Shortcut Alt-Control-R. And this will bring up a different panel, and it'll bring up a lot of these sort of options here on the right. Now, you can choose different ways to view this, right? So if you want the red, again, like we saw with the quick select tool, or if you want it to be black and white like the layer mask looks like, or if you want it to appear like it does in the layers, this view panel can change all of that. But one of the things that you can do that's really great is you can feather. Again, so if I raise this feather, you can see how it's blurring the edges of that mask. Now for us, that's not really what we're looking for, but it is really useful in certain situations. We can also shift the edge. And this works in conjunction with the edge detection radius. So if you up your edge detection radius here, then shifting the edge allows you to go closer and further away from that original line. And again, this is if you want to make micro adjustments, it's a nice way to change that selection after it's been made. Smart radius, again, is another way of allowing you to do that without having to change this radius panel or this slider. But then, being able to slide this in and out, change your mask a little bit, add a feather. These things kind of work in conjunction. You can smooth or add contrast to as just ways of refining this mask. So that's it. That's a primer for masking in Photoshop. Next, we're going to move on to sort of trying to put these images together in a composite.